Actually, this trip was scheduled for 2020. It was the time that COVID arose, so it was canceled, let's say. We knew about it in advance, and we were at the early stage of preparation at that time. Then in April, it was canceled because of COVID and came about again this year. Well, in 2020, there was somehow a reason. It was the 25th anniversary of the beatification and the 75th anniversary of the death of Blessed Peter Torot, who was a catechist from the area of Rabaul, who was martyred under Japanese occupation in 1945. So that was somehow the direct reason. And the theme at that time was the family. The theme of the Papal Visit had been the family, since the catechist Peter Torot was particularly vocal about the Christian family in 1945 against the Japanese trying to promote polygamy and other sort of behaviors of that sort. So now this time, I mean, PNG came back since Pope decided to resume to consider again this trip to Southeast Asia, including a country of Oceania, which is Papua New Guinea. So we are happy about that. At least we have Oceania and Papua New Guinea on the map of the world once again.
How long has PNG been preparing for this visit, and what has been involved?
Well, we have been told first informally of the intention of the Pope to come to Papua New Guinea in October last year, the first week of October. So since then, we started, let's say, the consultation among the bishops and the religious and some lay people, try to identify a possible program, themes also for the Pope to address. This 2024 is actually shorter. This plan for 2024 is 1 day shorter than what it was planned in 2020. So we had to make a more limited selection of places and themes and activities to propose to the Holy Father.
Tell us a bit more about the program. Which places will he visit, and why these particular spots?
Yeah, well, the Pope will arrive on Friday night, more or less around this time, in Port Moresby. So in the night, there will be only a candlelight. He will be accompanied to the residence of the Nunciature, which is 3-4 kilometers from the airport, by a candlelight. The streets will be lighted by candles. In the morning on Saturday, he will visit the government house. He will pay a visit to the Governor General. Later in the morning, he will meet politicians, diplomats, dignitaries at APEC House, downtown Port Moresby. That will be a message more focusing probably on social-political issues for Papua New Guinea and the Pacific. In the afternoon, there will be second afternoon, there will be first a meeting with these people and these children involved in, children that have been gathered somehow from the streets and from broken families, and they have been educated by sisters and other volunteers in a program supported by the Archdiocese of Port Moresby. And still later in the afternoon, he will meet the clergy, the religious, the pastoral workers at the Shrine of Mary Help of Christians, which is within a school of Don Bosco, the Salesians. That's for Saturday. Then Sunday morning will be the main event, let's say, main public event at the stadium. The Mass is expected to be attended by 50,000 people within the facilities and probably more around in the streets. And in the afternoon, he will fly to Vanimo. Unfortunately, there is only one afternoon for him to fly to Vanimo, have a meeting with the people there, visit the mission of the Argentinian priests there in Vanimo, and come back in the night, come back to Moresby. And Monday morning will be the concluding activity, will be a youth festival. The same venue of the Mass on Sunday at the stadium. He will be meeting the youth of Port Moresby and some from the rest of the country, basically students and young people active and present in our parishes here in the city.
Sounds like a very, very packed schedule. Can you tell us a bit more about what role the church plays in PNG, not only in a religious sense, but also within the community?
Well, the church in Papua New Guinea, either the Catholic Church and all other churches, Protestant churches, Lutheran, Anglicans, and so on, they have been here only for the last less than 150 years, at the end of the 19th century. Since then, those missionaries, they focused on the work of evangelization, of course, but they focused a lot also on bringing peace within the communities, bringing development, bringing education, bringing health services, and education services were started by the churches before the colonial power came in, and also during the time of the colonial power, the churches played a great role in that.
What is the mood like in the lead up to the visit?
Well, there is a growing sense of festivity and happiness. Now flags are out in the streets and banners, and thousands of T-shirts and merchandise came in, were ordered, of course, the past few months, both from the church side and the government side. So it will be also a weekend of celebration, of joy. Of course, the Pope is likely to touch very sensitive issues that will make us reflect and will challenge us, not only Catholics, but all citizens of the country.
Just lastly, it's the longest voyage abroad for the 87-year-old pontiff. Why do you think the Pope is making this trip at this particular time?
Well, I'm sure that those who discouraged the Pope from this trip were many. But the one who could not discourage the Pope from this trip was himself. He's moving, he's coming, he feels that he has to reach out. Of course, for this part of the world was probably his last chance, not only considering the age, but also considering that next year he will be very busy in Rome with the Jubilee year. So that will be the year 2025. And when we go to 2026, it will be his 90th year of life. So I think he probably also said, well, let me go, because it's either now or never. So he's coming, and I think he will also return to Rome in perfect health and in good shape.
Well, many people in this region are looking forward to his visit. Father Giorgio Licini, thank you so much for talking to us.
Welcome, welcome.